Hi, I'm Eleanor Christman Cox, the cello professor at Idaho State University. I am a cellist and also a certified Laban movement analyst. And these videos are about concepts from Laban that can be applied to the cello. If you want to know more about the concepts, you can go to my blog, eleanorchristmancox.com. But the videos are also fine to use just on their own. So we've spent the last two sessions talking about different parts of playing and breathing. Today we're going to talk about feet. And that is because, as I said last time, we have a really hard time connecting our upper body to our lower body. We have these sort of dead inches here where the connection stops. So we're going to work toward a better connection from the lower to the upper and upper to the lower. But we're also going to work on a concept called, the concept of mobility and stability being really intertwined. So what I mean is, in terms of playing the cello, if we can give ourselves some really great stability with the lower body, then our upper body has more freedom to move. So let me show you a couple of things that I do to kind of enliven that connection. The first one is something that you've probably done in other arenas, yoga or maybe Pilates or that kind of thing, or maybe it just is something that you've started doing because it feels good, but we'll try it in relation to cello. So the idea of this is to do a forward bend and then to sort of roll up through the spine slowly. So this concept might not be new to you, but what I want you to do is, first of all, when you do the bend, maybe bend your knees a little bit so that you can really feel your feet on the floor. I like to describe it as little tiny roots in the bottom of your feet that you could definitely pull them out and pull your feet up, but it would make it a little bit more difficult. So if you want to think of it that way, or as pancake batter spreading out, or wet paint spreading out, whatever you need to do with your imagination to really feel your feet in the floor. And you're welcome to do this with your shoes and socks off so you get some real tactile information from the carpet or the wood floor or whatever you are on. So you're going to bend forward. You're going to bend your knees a little bit. I like to stay forward for quite some time because then my neck and shoulders tend to release, which is where I hold my tension. But if you're uncomfortable or you just want to try this quickly, don't stay down too long. So forward fold, and I'm just going to try to really hang here. And the key to this is actually that when you come up, what you want to do is you want to feel as though your upward motion is coming from you pushing your feet into the floor. So my legs straighten, and then I sort of come up through my spine, and I come up and I feel taller, and I feel that engagement of my feet to the floor. If you are not feeling this, you might try to do it a couple of more times. The other thing you can and really should experiment with is doing this in a chair. And this is important because this is where we hang out. This is where we are. So sitting on the edge of the chair so that when you're bending forward, you are really feeling the weight going into your feet as though you would be standing up. So you do the same thing, the forward fold, and then pushing your feet into the floor and maybe feeling your butt into the chair a little bit can help you get this nice cello posture. You're looking for a point at which you feel like your hips are sort of neutrally over, your pelvis is not rolled back or forward, although we definitely do some of that in playing too, but you want to find that neutral place where you feel like I could sit here for a long time and I wouldn't get tired. Okay, the next thing is now we're in the chair, and so what we often see with cellists is their feet come back like this, or maybe one is out and one is back. But we see, a lot of times we see feet up closer to the legs of the chair, sometimes even on the legs of the chair. And this kind of support is not ideal, and I'll show you why. So if I have my feet, I have my legs apart so I could put the cello there, but I have my feet sort of together near the chair. If I try to reach for something, let's say I try to reach for something over here on my shelf, immediately I engage my core muscles to stabilize myself, because otherwise I would fall. Now, if I put my feet down and I have a really solid base, this sort of triangle between our butt hitting the chair and then our two feet, suddenly I have this mobility that I didn't have before, and my core can be engaged in the motion rather than the stabilization. So this can be really important for playing cello for several reasons. Sometimes we can get some really good power from the legs by pushing into the floor, or we'll do some things with the bow in just a second. But also it just allows for this support system of what we're doing with our fingers, our hands, our arms, all the way up. So if you're a teacher, I'm sure you've said to your students so many times, try to feel that all the way up into your back. See if you can, get your larger muscle groups engaged. Well, I'm talking about maybe even engaging from the core, or from the side of the core. So here's one thing that you can try, and these concepts may not be new to you, but hopefully the approach is something that you may not have thought of before. So we often, we like to move as we play, and we like to move with our bow. So if we go with our bow, now I can do that easily just by sort of rocking back and forth on the chair. But what if I do that with my feet? What if I push into the floor with my right foot, I go to my left. If I push with my left foot, I go to my right. So now try that again, and you don't have to really push hard. You can. I always recommend doing these things big and then making them smaller. But I can go with my bow. So I'm going to push on my left foot to go right, and on my right foot to go left. And I can do that big or small, it doesn't matter. Like I said, you might try it big first. Now I can also keep doing that, push on my left to go right and my right to go left, but I can go against my bow. So here's what I mean. So here it is the first way to go with the bow and against. So really try to do this exercise by pushing one foot or the other into the floor. And the reason is not just because, oh, hey, you can push your feet into the floor and do this, but because we are working to get this connection all the way through the body. And this is one way to do it, to take something that we do normally anyway. We like to move as we play, and then add this concept in. So you'll notice that one way everything's going together, and the other way you're creating some resistance. And what I'm hoping is that you can create different types of sound depending on whether you're going with or against your bow. When I'm going against my bow, I'm adding some more resistance to any resistance I'm getting from the string or the bridge. If I'm going with it, I'm just going with that. I'm maybe even taking some of the resistance away. If I'm staying, I'm using only the resistance of the string. So these are some concepts to play around with. There's lots more to the story. So keep following, and I will see you again soon.